That's not a real
It's
cover,
not.
man. That's Manny. That's Manny. That's not a real cover, man. Get out of here, Manny.
Let me tell you something. There was a lot of jiggle going on in that match, man. I was like, man, what they doing? Match wasn't really important, but at the same time, it took place.
As a quote, a wise philosopher, booty, 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 rocking everywhere, rocking everywhere, rocking everywhere.
The question that you gotta ask Naomi, and this is such an inappropriate question, is that does Rhea do it better than Jimmy? Like, you know,
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Well, when Jimmy's drunk, I heard he's a wildcat.
I heard when Jimmy's drunk, it don't work.
Shout out to Chris. Shout out to the only wildcat I know, Chris Harris.
This is actually the thumbnail.
Poor Drew Gulak.
Nah, man, Drew
Drew
Gulak is finding a way to get on TV, man. His first interview was amazing. Why did he go and ask Adam Pearce for a critique? I do not know, but he should never interrupt Charlotte. That's how he got put into the situation.
No, I blame Pat. Pat McAfee hyped him up too much. Pat hyped him up too much that he went to Pearce.
I mean, I think the thing about it, though, is that you have to ask yourself this question. Will Gulak be there next Friday? And that's when I'm tuning in for next Friday. I need to know, will Gulak be back in his backstage role? I really enjoyed him, especially if you play WWE 2K22. You know that Gulak is a very pivotal, important piece of that game telling you what you need to do.
Of the
have you not made it past the tutorial yet?
Yeah, that's all Gulak does, the tutorial. He never shows up again.
And what's important, but what's more important than a tutorial?
Once you're done with it, you're done with it.
Yeah, you're done, yeah.
Yeah, but without it, you can never start.
What kind of nonsense is this? I didn't need a tutorial to do any of these games.
Well, the tutorial of the beginning of this show is over. Let's move on.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
Just Eric. I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And he is just Lord Manny Hayes. I am a very disgruntled, frustrated, annoyed, angered Marcus the Grand Finale.
And before we even start the show, I just want to say punctuation matters, because I agree with Manny. That was ridiculous. But
I felt like an asshole for doing that too, you know.
Nah, man. I tried to read it. I'm like, can I get some punctuation? I need to know where to stop. But
to clarify what you're talking about, because there are people in this room who don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, Marcus, because I know you have hate in your heart and you have sleep on your mind. So we just need to dive right in and jump into what you consider one of the most useless waste of time that you had to deal with this Friday, and that's you witnessing Friday Night SmackDown. Marcus, go ahead, brother. The floor is yours. Let the world know, why is SmackDown on your shit list for 2 weeks in a row?
The show's only about one character, goddammit, and one character don't show up. What the fuck am I watching? Like, what am I watching? These clowns, these circus acts, these fools, these buffoons, these nothing storylines. There was the bloodline that didn't feature Paul Heyman against Randy RK Bro. Yes, I'm all for the unification of the titles, but I got this shit on Raw already. I didn't need it again. They didn't do anything on this show. Anything. There was 9,000 video packages. Charlotte is still carrying this Ronda feud by herself. And it's more Charlotte versus the crowd than Ronda at this point. And I wanted people to jump the rail to attack Charlotte just because to make the feud more interesting. There is nothing happening on SmackDown. Nothing. And I stayed up for this. How dare they?
Marcus,
How dare they?
Marcus, at this point, I kind of agree with you. Nothing really happened on SmackDown, but I did like the opening segment with RK Bro showing up. I thought the segment had a lot of good energy from the Usos and Orton and all that. And I mean, I'm glad that the match was made. True, it was going to be at Backlash, but it was still made. Manny, opening SmackDown, did you like the opening or did you agree with Marcus? Was it SmackDown just what the hell was going on there?
Once you watch the whole of SmackDown, you go, "What the fuck was that?" But at the beginning, the beginning, it was like, "Okay, we're getting a show here. I don't know what we're getting. I'm in. I'm invested." And then you gradually get drawn in, and then you get to the end. It's like, "Sucker!"
Yeah, because I would say that like there was nothing on the show that followed the opening segment. Like literally, you go from Randy and the Usos, then we go follow up with Sasha, Naomi, and then Rhea and Liv, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's the right follow up from there. And it's just
I was
like,
okay with that. I was okay with that. I don't know why the show soured on me. I just felt like it was a very missable show. I was fine with the opening. I was fine with the tag match / non-tag match, Rhea and Naomi match. I actually enjoyed that match. And then after that, I was just like, okay, Ricochet and Jinder, fine match. You know, I had no problem with that. I like Jinder. I like Ricochet. It was a fine match. It was nothing I hated about this show. It was just nothing
Matt Cat?
important.
Matt Cat
I don't
kissing his
remember Matt
trophy.
Cat. Yeah, he did have a match, didn't he? You know, Matt Cat didn't look bad in the ring.
No,
But
Matt Cat is
he
not
just
bad.
looks like a damn fool, and I shouldn't care about. My issue is, at the end of the day, they never moved the storyline. There was no storyline moving. It was just like, here we go. Let me give you a show of all wrestling matches that have no consequences whatsoever. None.
Also, they did an episode of Dynamite.
At least those are like dream matches or randomly or something. At least they got that. At least the crowd loves what's going on. On SmackDown, stuff is just happening. It's just happening.
So, I mean,
crowd's allowing it.
I was entertained because I am entertained by certain things, and Sheamus and Ridge, they lost Butch. Butch got off his leash.
He just walked away.
He got off his leash and he found Xavier Woods and whooped his ass. I mean, quite frankly, Manny, wouldn't you do the same thing if you got off your leash? Just go find Xavier Woods and whoop his ass.
Xavier Woods is not the first person I'm going to try to attack. but Xavier Woods certainly deserved it.
You're off the chain shit like Robert Roode. Just like, gotta go attack somebody. But
the real question is, if you were let off the chain, who's the first person you were attacking? And you can't be.
Remember, Marcus has already destroyed the whole AEW locker room once before, so I don't know if we want to let the Tasmanian Devil loose again.
Oh, I know where I'm going. I'm going to drive 30 to 20 minutes up the street, and I'm going to find Kawhi Leonard, and I'm going to give him a chop block a la Charlotte or Drew Gulak right away. Be like, now at least your knee really hurts. You cost me my year. You cost me my year, damn it. You wasted my time, okay? You're taking this scrappy team that's fighting their heart out, and you are being just diva with this knee. What is really wrong with your knee? Are you a con man? Do you not want to play the game of basketball anymore, Kawhi? I blame you and Paul George. I know you're faking. I know it. I don't know what it is, but I know you're faking. I know you never contracted the COVID virus. And because if you did, everybody would have been like, so what? This is ridiculous.
It's funny. In the pre-show, this man had no energy. Right now, you would think he was suffering from sleep. You know who you sound like?
I told you I was fueled by hate and anger today. And I do not care. And I'm letting it out, okay? Letting it out.
Now, my brother.
When I go to work tonight on an Easter Saturday, on a good Saturday, I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't unleash hell to the public.
My brother, I understand your hate level is high. But I need to ask you a question, Marcus. Is your hate level higher than Natty's hate level? Her and Shayna in the locker room hating on Raquel Rodriguez, and Raquel Rodriguez being a nice person trying to shake somebody's hand when they touching my stuff. I would have whooped Natty's ass. Especially she already beat up Cora Jade on Tuesday. So I mean, come on.
Yeah, Natty is on some bullshit this week in general. When she's on her tour of just hate. Once she attacked a little girl this week who may be 12 years old. and she beat her ass after declaring that all these wrestlers were her heroes. And then this week, Natty is watching TV, watching Lacey Evans give this sad story about her poor childhood and how her life was just beaten up, ruined by her father and all this. And then Natty on TV act like her childhood was the worst. Shayna, you had a bad childhood. I had a bad childhood. We all have bad childhood. While Shayna is checking out, I guess, Raquel Rodriguez's outfit or Lacey's. I don't know who outfit that was, but clearly judging it. Clearly judging. Shayna Baszler judging someone's outfit. It's ridiculous. And then Natty and them talking shit. All these new booties coming up in my business. I don't know what bullshit. Natty told she was a 60-year-old woman, a 60-year-old black woman watching TV. Just hate.
Yeah, she's the Max Caster of WWE, just showing up to fight people. It's a litmus test. Now, Manny, my question for you: we had a match for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Jinder Mahal getting a not deserving title shot against Ricochet. My question for you: are they just trying to fatten up Ricochet, make him look like he's stronger, for ultimately when Walter, aka Gunther, goes and takes the Intercontinental title from him? Because I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
I thought the idea was that him and Ludwig were going to be a tag team, not singles competitors. But if that means Gunther is going for gold, I am all for that because Ricochet is going to be dead as Shay.
I mean, he can go have his 4-star matches at AEW and don't mean anything. You know, that's what he can go do over there. I'm just saying.
Well, with the thing of Ricochet, I just believe he's holding the boat for Soya Sokola, wherever they call him up. When Cola come up, I'm just gonna call him Cola because
you got it like that. He impressed you this week, did he, Marcus? He impressed you this week, huh?
No, he's okay. He's impressed me, and I guess other man, he was fine, but I believe they just hold that title for the bloodline to get all the belts.
He didn't do the Samoan dynasty any good because Grimes insulted that dynasty. He insulted the bloodline, and he didn't do anything.
He said the bloodline could kiss his ass. But another disappointment, showing why Adam Pearce is not the man, because even Sonya was able to get herself a title shot this week on Raw. But Adam Pearce, in the match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, decided that next week, no, we're not going to put these guys inside of a cage. We're going to have a lumberjack match. Lumberjack matches never work out, and I do not care for lumberjack matches because it will also show how thin the SmackDown roster really is.
Well, I don't even understand why Drew needs to kill Sammy. He has no motivation to chase Sammy through the crowd. If Sammy don't want to fight him, he don't have to fight him. Like, Drew has no motivation. The feud is basically Adam Pearce and Sami Zayn standing outside like room. Next person you fight, and next person to walk out is person you fight. Drew McIntyre walked out. He looked confused. This week, he needs to kill Sammy? There's no reason. Scoff.
All right, so I will go to some of the chat. So we'll go to JK Swift. She says, "Good morning, good evening. For the Clippers being the best basketball team in LA, fuck the Hulk Hogan brother, and shout out to the MLS for being the best football in the world."
Wow!
Wow!
That is an assault on England right there. And
that's not assault on England. That's assault on the world because the world don't even equate to views of that. That doesn't even get shown in England.
then
we have Ross talk about 196. Oh, go ahead.
Can I chime in on what JK Swish just said right now?
Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say. God damn it. Can you put his comment up real quick?
It's the best, Clippers being the best in LA.
No. Oh, did you guys see the video of Hulk Hogan getting beaten to 2K22?
Yes,
which is my favorite thing ever. It was all the black wrestlers jumping Hulk Hogan in the back, throwing him inside his limousine, and then driving the limousine into a wall and essentially killing Hulk Hogan, which is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I believe someone said, "What mode of 2K22 is this?" And someone commented said, "Reparations."
Well, Ross was like, "What's an MLS?" But I was going to actually go to Ross' other comment where he says, "Randy, 196 subs, Manny, it's coming." Then he says, "Randy was a full-on MVP this week. He needed to be due to the lack of Roman." I think that's where I was disappointed at when I saw Randy show up on SmackDown. I really thought Randy was going to say F the tag team titles, but he was going to challenge Roman to a match. I thought he was challenging Roman to a match.
Now this SummerSlam Randy, homie, he wait to SummerSlam.
Then, we got
That's
El
when
Luchador
good
Q's in
Randy
the
comes
chat
out.
with Pop Pop. Thank you for joining us, El Luchador. Then Levi asked the question: do you think WWE might be throwing the towel in on SmackDown? Fox has been disappointed with their ratings as they are supposed to be higher. Do you guys think that?
No.
No, because
Why
I
would you
think
throw
they're
in the
where they're
towel? They
at.
paid like $1 billion for it. Why would you throw
Yeah,
in the
Yeah,
towel?
and
yeah,
I think
I don't see that at all.
And I think for a Friday night, I think it gets good enough ratings for it. And I think it also benefits WWE from having their programming on national television. I think that for some people, the only WWE program that they see is SmackDown because it comes on national TV.
Well, I think there's some of it is just phoned in due to the competition they have on television right now. I mean, they're going to get the ratings they get. They're going to get the same views that they're 1.92 million, whatever SmackDown gets, and but they're competing with a lot of stuff right now with the NBA play-ins, and so maybe they're waiting till that's over in the playoffs to like actually do a real storyline on this show because nothing's happened in 2 weeks after WrestleMania.
I just think that people need to just get the idea out of their head that professional wrestlers are going to go back to their 3 million views. I don't think that's going to ever happen again. I think the 2 million view mark is about where it's at. I don't think
That's the
anything's going to ever
ceiling.
change.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's ever going to get higher.
Yeah, because I don't think that although the internet wants to be vocal and all that good stuff, but like the fact that AEW is being like wrestling fan service for everybody, giving you dream matches, and they are barely under 1 million. So like I just don't think wrestling is the thing anymore because there's so much other things that get you. Like Netflix got it locked with all their programming, and you have like HBO Max. There's a lot of different things that can distract people. Before we get distracted, let's talk about the last thing that took place on SmackDown. That was Drew Gulak being placed in a new role of being a backstage interviewer. And his first interview went well until he decided that he was going to ask for a critique from Adam Pearce, who was talking to Charlotte, which led to him being placed in the figure 8. Manny, how did you feel about Drew Gulak, and did he mess up by interrupting Charlotte?
Come on, man. He should know his place. He should see who Pierce was talking to and stay out of the way.
But maybe he was trying to get that Andrade contract from AEW. Like, hey, I'm trying to hook up with you, Charlotte, so I go to AEW and get paid too.
Well, first I would peer around the corner as well if I knew Charlotte was in there. Like, what version of Charlotte is in there?
What kind of shoes is she wearing?
she was in full safe. She was in a safety suit because she had the boots that went all the way up to her knees, so she was okay.
Well, I believe Drew Gulak is a feet guy. If you go back to Manny's original image, he is reaching for Charlotte's feet as he's in the figure 8. I'm just saying, I think he grabbed it and he achieved his goal of being the feet guy for Charlotte.
Oh, he touched it. Look, he turned on.
Yeah, he got him.
Ah!
But I saw the internet. People were upset about Drew Gulak being a backstage interview guy when he's such a good wrestler. Vince don't give a damn what you can do in the ring. I don't understand this, and I don't think Drew Gulak cares. Wait, Drew Gulak is happy in the role he's at, and I think that is backstage training.
Let me tell you something. I thought Gulak was very good on the microphone, and also, as you said, I don't think everybody can be a great superstar in WWE. But like, if he's backstage filling the role that Bryan Danielson left, training the new wrestlers, and he's getting on TV here and there, I don't find anything wrong with that being your career in WWE. I mean, I'll take it. I don't need to be a superstar. That's just me.
Drew Gulak's not a superstar though.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, but
he's not a major player. He's a good wrestler, but that's about it. That's about it.
Like the only thing, if he jumped to AEW, the only thing that he would do would have a good record and all. But I'm just saying he would jump and have a good record on Dark just so he can debut on Dynamite to lose to somebody else to make them look stronger. I mean, that's what they would be. You know what? This is actually a very good idea by Ross. He says Gulak should be a mouthpiece manager for Ronda. She's god awful on the mic. You damn right. Yeah. I mean, someone needs to talk for her.
And Gulak would be, credible. He would be good at that MVP role. And then on a side note of this changing people roles, people were upset that LA Knight. I am upset who he's representing. But I don't have a problem with that 40-year-old man being a manager. Yeah. LA Knight. He's a solid wrestler. he does a great Steve Austin and Rock imitation.
Let me talk to
But
you. Yeah.
I think his best tool is his mouth. And if he's in that MVP role of where he just talks shit for somebody and then he have a match every now and then, I think that's the best role for him.
Who was his designated? Who was he representing? Because I remember I read it.
Mace.
Oh
Mace.
wow, wow,
Mace.
wow.
That could be DOA.
Hey, let me tell you something.
That's why it was a dark match.
If LA Knight could turn Mace around, make him relevant, he might be more powerful than the Time Machine. Just saying, because I don't see any potential in Mace. But
I don't see nothing in Mace. The moment he started coming out like he was in Mad Max, nope.
I mean, at the end of it all, that was SmackDown. Like Marcus said, SmackDown offered nothing new, nothing fresh. Hell, the big dog didn't even show up. So if you guys want to say something else about SmackDown, we could just move over to what would be perceived as the main event, Rampage, where it kind of got Twitter up in arms a little bit. Started off with Eric Bischoff. We'll start with the main event with the so-called Texas Death Match. The internet got in an uproar because how the match ended is that how can I say that Hangman gave Adam Cole a crown made out of barbed wire on Good Friday, which people felt was somewhat insensitive to people who are religious because it was mimicking Jesus. Betty, I understand what you're saying, and I knew that we probably weren't the best people to actually relate to their feeling insensitive. For me personally, I just thought it wasn't that good of a match. I mean, it's called the Texas Death Match, and like, quite frankly, they didn't do anything for me that constituted that name. So, Manny, I know you watched a little bit of Rampage. What did you think about this main event, which hopefully is the final match between the two Adams?
The bias in this main event, I heard it in his voice.
Oh, it's there. It's there.
I heard
man.
that. That was good.
It was okay. I'm gonna have to say the Murder Hawk one 2 months ago with Adam Page was probably better. But they can't have any more Texas Death Matches for at least 6 months. The fact that he had one 2 months ago is ridiculous.
Yeah. There's been 3 in history, and the last one been like in the last 2 months.
And they pointed out that there's been 3 in the history, and I'm like, yeah, we're getting too many. We don't need this. And quite frankly, let me just tell you, I don't know what WWE did with Adam Cole, but he's just not the guy to me. He isn't. And I don't know if it's Adam Page's fault, but like, I didn't want either one of these guys to win. I was like, can we bring out the big Indian basketball player man again just to mess this up?
Nope. That was the worst clothesline I've ever seen in my life.
And then Marcus, because I know you didn't watch Rampage, right?
I've seen this man a bit. You know, I guess you don't want me to chime in and get my.
No, I'm gonna let you chime in. I didn't know
a couple of pennies on there.
I was gonna ask you a question, Marcus. Go ahead, chime in. Go ahead, speak on it, my brother. I'm sorry.
One, me here being a very religious saint,
Here we go.
Blessed,
bullshit at its best.
Blessed individual who has never, missed a Sunday church on the Easter Sunday. Was not offended by the crowd on the head. However, I just thought it looked stupid on his head. I was like, the death shot's enough through a table to just hurt somebody. The barbed wire adds nothing to this move because you're gonna break his neck. That's what I felt like that ending was. The death shot was enough. Okay. The match was probably, I would say, all right, but I just think that in the AEW landscape, I've gotten too many of these matches. I've even seen Adam Cole in a lights out match, which is the exact same thing with Orange Cassidy, and he lost, which they reference. I've seen Moxley and Yuta, which was a bloodbath. And then you get this one, and I was like, it's fine. Everything's all right. I was rooting for Cole to win. Maybe that's part of why I was just like, at the end of the day. And, it didn't blow me away. I've seen better.
Marcus, let me ask you this question.
And Hangman Page is still the worst champion in AEW history.
Let me ask you this question, Marcus. Do you think the fact that since AEW has established they're going to use blood, that they use that crutch a little bit too much?
I feel they go to the well too much, and it's lacking creativity in that. And this is in both promotions. Let me throws way too many triple threat matches out there. And when they do a hardcore match, they use way too many kendo sticks. And it's the same thing. And in AEW, they're using way too many tables, way too many so-called death matches with everybody. And it just seems like it's repetition over and over. And the fact that this casket match with Darby Allin is happening on Wednesday, it's just going to be the exact same match as this when it comes to the hardcore value.
I mean,
So,
I think
mix it
when
up.
I go to the that match between Cole and Paige, like the production already messed up because they had a camera shot that they should never had. When Paige was getting his chairs from underneath the ring, you could literally see the barbed wire chair that he ignored. And I'm like, in logic, if you have a barbed wire chair, you're grabbing that fucking chair first. But instead, he grabbed all the other ones, and I was like, oh, that's somewhat of a production thing. I just felt like, for me, the entire week of AEW, all the matches took place. They were fine matches. They were good wrestling. But as a person, they gave me no substance behind it to make me care or tune in. Like next week, they're giving me a main event of Andrade versus Darby Allin. And I'm like, why should I care about this match? I mean, last thing I remember was that he wanted to talk to his boss because he wanted to buy that kid named Darby Allin. But that doesn't mean that I want to see them in a coffin match. Manny, what about yourself? Like I understand that AEW is providing wrestling, but why aren't they like? Do they need to do more, or is this just good enough for what their fans want to see?
I think me and Marcus may have touched on this earlier in the week. I think it's like wrestling without substance. It's like it's lacking that story behind it for me to care about. And yeah, I'm very much into sports entertainment. I don't care. I don't care if the match isn't that good. If there's a good enough story, it kind of carries you through. But like you're getting these dream matches and there's nothing behind them. Like I wouldn't necessarily say what happened on what was the main event on Dynamite? It was Joe
Suzuki and Joe.
Joe and
Suzuki and Joe. They
Slap
told a good
hands,
enough.
slap hands.
That was a good enough. They told a good enough story in the ring, but like if you're going into that and you just see that as a card, you go, "That's just an indie show," because I don't know what's gone on. I don't know why they're having this match.
It was a Ring of Honor match. That's what it was.
Yeah, but it was just like there's nothing behind it. There's nothing behind it. Much like everything that happened on that Dynamite, there was nothing behind it other than the MJF Wardlow story that kind of was in the middle.
Yeah,
there was nothing. There was nothing in it that would make me go, "Okay, I'm invested in that." Other than it was a good match.
And that's I think that's the main reason that the main event on Rampage didn't really work for me. Is that the Adams? There's nothing really going on in this storyline. There's no real. I don't know why I should root for one or the other in any of the cases. And it's like, I guess people like Heyman Page, but he's not really doing anything for his champion. And him and Cole feud hasn't seemed like it reached deathmatch status in which we've gotten there. They've had one match, and it doesn't seem like it gets here. And where was Red Dragon for this one? They weren't barred. They could just run out, right?
Yeah, it's like the logic and the rules. I mean, and let's go to when I guess AEW tries to do a little bit of sports entertainment. And I know you didn't see this, Marcus. Thank God you didn't see this one because you probably would have a long rant. It's Ruby Soho going against somebody.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
This was awful.
The Robin Renegade thing, and I'm like, okay, we don't know who this person is, and then next thing you know, they're pulling Twin Magic, and I'm like,
how do you lose? How do you lose with Twin Magic?
But then my favorite part though was that at the end, after the big reveal was that Ruby Riott was Ruby Soho was able to defeat two people. They're laughing. Yeah, it's two of us. Y'all dumbasses still lost. So like, it made no sense. Like the Renegade Twins, I'm like, okay, I guess.
I love the critique in this match with the first Renegade was in there. It's like all she's bothered about is sticking her tongue out and not going for the pin and covering the leg. The most stupidest critique ever, but it made sense when you saw what she was doing every time, and she could have gone for the pin, but no, she stuck out her tongue, then went for the pin, and then it was a weak pin.
I'm intrigued by Dustin Rhodes versus CM Punk. That's gonna take place on Wednesday.
That's a good old man fight. But again, where's the story? What's the substance?
Well, the story is that
supposed to be both shows, and I'm talking about WWE as well. Both of these wrestling shows supposed to be episodic television, but none of their shows on their main shows on SmackDown or on Dynamite gave me anything that said this is a continuation of a story. No, these were all just random one shots that they just throw out there.
I mean, I think even the only show that gave me a story was NXT this week. That was the only one that was being consistent with telling their story, letting me know who their people are, and going with their like. The Blackpool Combat Club versus the Gun Club. You guys can tell me all they want to tell me how undefeated Billy, Colton, and Austin is, but I knew for not a second that they were going to win this match. And
They
I mean,
never win.
And like to think about it, this was a match to highlight Wheeler Yuta, and quite frankly, great. But I just wish it was somebody else. I don't know. It's like the Combat Club. I mean, it's cool when you think about it, but at the same time, it's like,
No,
what are they really doing? Like, why are they together? What are we accomplishing?
This is where my hate compels me, I guess. The power of hate compels. Yeah. Well,
Marcus, I'm going to give you my power of hatred. Here you go. Take it.
I'm a full Natty watch, and this is my main problem with AEW right now.
Natty
they keep
watch.
putting. Yeah. I'm watching a show that continues to put people in groups and put them together, but when they're in these groups, they have no direction to go anywhere. Blackpool Combat Club. All right, we're going to fight with Wheeler Yuta, but what's the big plan with your two biggest stars in your company, Bryan Danielson and Mox? What are they doing?
Well, apparently also, AEW is now taking criticism because of Keith Lee, and I can't remember who else was listed in that, but just becoming guys. Just becoming
I'm sure that's Vince Russo, Jim Cornette, or the podcasting world, or Bischoff, or on the wrestling podcast.
But see, like,
that ain't news.
But how can they take criticism? It's a possibility they were just guys. I mean, there's only so much you can do with people. Like, everybody talk about, like, WWE did Cesaro wrong. No, they didn't. This is what you get from Cesaro. If he shows up in AEW, he's going to be the same individual. And, like, for me, I think that AEW does a little bit ever since Tony bought the Ring of Honor. There's too much intermingling without any explanation. Like, why is your main event on AEW Dynamite? Why is it for the Ring of Honor television? I don't know what title it was, but it was some title. And I didn't get it. And that's a good question. Why are Keith and Swerve even friends? Are their only common ground is they're black? Like, literally,
NXT. Well, NXT.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to mention that.
No, the other common ground.
Hold on. They have a lot in common. Hold on. Let me break this down for you.
Oh, they shuck and jive with each other? They shuck and jive? Because he's still. I heard Manny said that Swerve is still shucking and jiving, Marcus. He ain't did shit. Marcus, let me also point out what Manny said on the show. Everybody got a pop. Everybody got a pop but Swerve. Everybody but Swerve. Hey, Manny, I did watch that part. The crowd went dead when Swerve went out, Marcus. Yes, I'm pushing that button right there.
I feel like the power of hate was like, Manny said something evil. I must come in.
Yeah. Hold on.
Because Eric doesn't watch us normally.
Yeah. One, fuck you for attacking Swerve for whatever reason you need to attack Swerve. Because I wasn't even giving a defense Swerve. I don't even know what that comment was about. I was about to make a joke of the three things they had in common. And all of a sudden you were like, fuck Swerve. Fuck Swerve. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing anything? I was going
That's your boy.
That's your boy, Marcus.
I was about to put the things they have in common. And hold on.
They don't eat the same diet.
Hold on. I was going to bring it all full circle.
Okay, go ahead.
They both wrestled and Evolved at one point. 2, they both wrestled in NXT at one point. 3, they both wrestled on WWE SmackDown at some point and got fired. 4, they both tried to rap in their own theme songs and whatnot. And 5, they showed up on Dynamite team together. But none of this has been explained on Dynamite. Why these two people are cool. There is nothing. People just hang out together, and it's fine. I don't need a full explanation. I just want people to be involved in something. Do something and have a storyline. Explain to me why this is happening. MJF can't be the only one in the company telling stories. Now that CM Punk has decided to live his fantasies and go through a list of wrestlers he's never wrestled before, whether you're Penta or Goldust and all that, he's now calling for the belt. Maybe we could get a story with him and the world champion, and they can actually give the champion more than 2 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, does CM Punk fighting Dustin Rhodes, does that bring him closer to this title quest, or does that push him farther away?
Pushes him. I guess he's in the title quest. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't care. It's gonna be solid. Loser Vandross. That's a mean comment right there.
That's a valid question that JK has. Does anyone want to be champion AEW? Because I think there's so much that goes on. Like, I remember when Darby cut a promo how the TNT title meant so much to him, and now he's just been stuck in this feud with Andrade and first it was Hardy and with I don't get it. And then like and for me, as we all know, I like stupid side stories that don't make any sense. And there was one story going on in AEW that I actually cared about that happened 2 weeks ago, but I've had no follow-up. I want to know what's going on with the Varsity Blondes. I mean, the little girl, she decided to walk out on them, kick them out, but I got no follow-up. What is she doing?
Because they won't be on TV for like another 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's like,
they're gonna jab again, and she's gonna be the same position.
And then I get a random promo from Aleister Black talking some nonsense, and I'm like, "Did your other people can't show up for work?"
I went back on that. Am I correct in to say that that promo was on Fuego del Sol?
I think it was.
No way.
And I'm
no way. I don't believe it. I'm not gonna believe that, Manny. Don't you say that. Don't put that evil in the world.
Like the whole thing is like you tell me the only story that's going on in AEW that I have to come back for is MJF versus Wardlow. And I'm like, is that something that I really want to come back for? I mean, it's okay, but like even on Rampage when you had like Sean, like we call him War Pig. I'm like, that's just so stupid because the storyline makes no sense that Wardlow is contracted to MJF, but somehow he still competes in AEW and he can get opportunities. Like, doesn't Tony Khan have enough money to get that? It doesn't make any sense to me. That's my issue with it.
But to be more on the slight positive on this, they've got 6 weeks now, roughly, till Double or Nothing. So I'm guessing from next week they've got to start building towards that. Because otherwise they're in trouble.
I'm assuming they're going to build towards Punk versus Hangman, right? That has to be the main event. That
was what it seemed like the plan was going to be because he said he was going to wait for the outcome of the two Adams, and that's the outcome's done. So I'm guessing that's now time for Punk to actually move in, and then we probably get some story going into that. But they need to start building stories into that. Otherwise, you're just going to get that rush job into Double or Nothing again, and then we again on the night before Double or Nothing or an AEW pay-per-view, we're going to go. The build-up has been shit, but the pay-per-view is probably going to be amazing because that's what they do. They always deliver on pay-per-view, but you kind of want that build going into it.
So let me ask this question, and this is open to the chat also, and also to you, Manny and Marcus. Do you guys feel that AEW doesn't feel that they have to build stories, like that their matches speak for themselves? Like we don't need to explain why they're fighting because we're giving you dream matches. This is what people want to see. We don't have to explain. It's just great wrestling, and that's what we got. Marcus, I'll go with you first with that question.
Well, I believe the statement was from Tony Khan that every Dynamite needs to be a pay-per-view or something like that, and I don't know why I would buy $60 to see a pay-per-view when I could just watch a sweet episode of Dynamite each week and it'd be like, oh, I enjoyed that. I don't know. I don't know. I just think they got too much going on. There's too much going on with this Ring of Honor thing, and they're having that on the show, and there's Tony Surprises where he's bringing people from Japan over and all that, and it's just kind of muddling the waters of what should I be focused on in this show. And if it's just good matches, that's whatever. Fine. I can enjoy it. It's a good hype crowd, whatever. Fine. But I would prefer if they had some storylines and some continuity or something that was going on of substance, because it just seems like they're just like, it just seems like it lacks creativity or originality.
Manny,
it's all a bit of faction.
What about yourself?
I think the worrying thing about it is, this is going to help me give you my answer. What's your favorite thing to eat? Why are you taking longer to answer this than any other question?
Because I guess Because my eating restrictions, I don't know.
Just eat what would you
Ice
eat
cream.
if you had no restrictions?
Ice cream.
Okay. So if you had ice cream now for every day, you get bored of it, right?
Yes.
If you keep having these dream matches and everything, eventually those dreams are going to run out, and eventually people are going to start getting bored or getting used to you delivering on that level. That now you're in a vibe because you've got to go higher. And the higher and higher you get, the more burnout your roster's going to get because the fans are going to expect so much more of you. So the problem here is you're giving too much away for free when you're a new company. Essentially, they're still new. They're still finding their way. They're giving away too much for free on TV when they should be using that kind of time for like special events.
And then on top of that, they're also using that crutch of, once again, this Wednesday, Tony Khan has promised another huge surprise. Like they always need to have a surprise. I'm like, stop having these surprises. And for me to go into the
But
chat
here's
room
an announcement, not a surprise.
to give some clarification, because El Luchador says so. He needs to understand that this correctly. Eric liked dumb stories, but only when WWE does. No, El Luchador, let me correct something for you, and please listen closely. I prefer dumb stories over great wrestling all the time, and I prefer them in whatever company that will do it for me. However, the only difference is that WWE will follow up on their dumb storylines to give me a closer. Compared to AEW, I won't know what fucking happens with their stories because they don't exist. You're
basically referring to Julia Hart. You're basically returning to Julia Hart.
Yes. Like,
I'm telling you, the best dumb story is still my best feud in AEW, and it's Marcus's too. Serena Deeb and Shida.
Yes, exactly.
The 50-50 plaque. It's our favorite match ever, and it's been going on for months.
Or Nyla Rose when she yells out random bitch. Like, I like these. I
did
like
not
people...
yell out bitch this week.
No, it has been for a while.
I hate you, Nyla. I hate you. You were a go-to woman for my bingo card to say bitch, and you did not say it, and you had to say that's cake, bitch. That's all you had to say.
No,
this is cake.
No,
I like cake, bitch.
She said, "Heifer, I like cake."
You know what? She got cake smashed in her face. That made me laugh. And you know what, El Luchador? It's perfectly fine. We can all like different things, but we all get to the same place. You like great wrestling. I like a great story to get me into the wrestling match that can be a mediocre match. I don't need to have that great match. I don't. But if you gave me a great story, it's like, to me,
it's the Three Little Bears. It's the Three Little Bears. He likes
you're
his
allowed
shit
to
hot.
like what you like, you know.
Yeah, no, it's
you
like
what you like.
Yeah.
It's like having a movie that has no plot, but it has the greatest actors in the whole wide world. Like,
you mean
it's
the
no plot.
The Expendables.
Well, Marcus, it's questionable if you would consider those people great actors, actresses.
That's Sylvester Stallone, man. He's Academy Award winner, Sylvester Stallone. Don't fucking with that. Or you talking about the Fast and the Furious movies?
How dare you?
I feel like that's what that is.
Friend.
Brother,
all about it. Or I see you again.
Let me also attack a recent movie that happened this year. And yes, everybody loved it, including myself. You know, I thought I had a good time watching it. I don't think I ever plan on watching it again, though, because I'm not gonna get the same experience. Let's go Spider-Man No Way Home. That movie was a spot fest and made no sense.
Hey, some man broke a record. Some man broke the Guinness Book of World Record by watching that movie 294 times or something like that. Don't know how he did it.
I don't know how many times you can watch Tobey Maguire walk through a pool and be like, this is good shit. This is good shit.
Because that guy's grandmother was talking in Filipino and I understood it.
They finally attacking the Filipino market in Disney.
As crazy as this may sound, all my Filipino friends who have saw No Way Out, they all talk about that play. That shit was for us. That was for us.
That was for me. That was my movie.
They spoke to Tagalog right there. Shout out to Uncle Inez. I don't know if he's still alive, but he was the only Tagalog interpreter that worked for the courts. And he was
El Luchador, I do plan on watching Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And yeah, the ocean movies fit into that category of, here's all these great actors. What's the real plot of this? It really makes no sense when you think about it. It takes 1 second and you go like, oh, okay, this made no sense. They spent like $8 billion to rob 60 or something.
So, do you think
they don't even get to enjoy the money?
Just I have a question. Do you guys think Melo is barking up the wrong tree? Because technically Melo cost Solo Sikoa his title shot against Cameron Grimes when he sent Trick Ass out there. And you know, no, that's just wildly crazy because, you know, I'm intrigued by that story because I was like, if anybody Trick and Melo shouldn't be fucking with is the street champion Solo Sikoa. I just don't think that's the guy you want to mess with, especially because of his bloodline.
Yeah, I'll mess with him because of his bloodline. Gives me clout. Give me and call me to the main roster. You know, it's not at least I have that going for it. But I will argue and say NXT did the damn thing this week, and they are telling stories. And as stupid as the Scott Steiner kidnapping and Joe Casey scenario is, and all that's going on, son, I'm really proud of you. Even that Saturday morning cartoon shit, it had my attention. And Cameron Grimes winning for his daddy and Solo and them and all that. Everything about this, it seems like that. Even Wendy Chu shooting super soakers at the Toxic Attraction, and Gigi sounded like she's getting set on fire.
No, she sold like Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan.
And quite frankly, hands down, I think the tag team gauntlet match was the best match this week. I was thoroughly entertained, and every team in that match showed me something. And Pretty Deadly, who's on the screen, I've been a fan of them when I've seen them for a long time, and goddamn it, I'm still a fan because they're everything that I need to do. They're obnoxious. You want to hate them, Betty. The picture.
When they just do that, it kills me because I'm like, what is it even mean?
The picture of them being in the bathroom where he has the title around his ankles and the other guy is in the shower with the titles. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong? Like,
they did that when they won the NXT UK tag team.
I know, Betty, but because I have no context with
Betty. Let's be real. NXT UK does not exist. It is only a figment of everybody. It's a figment. Everyone's a magic man. It's a land.
Marcus, stop.
Marcus, no.
Did you hear how Manny said? He said, yes, it does. He wants to believe it. Zion Quinn and El Luchador, Zion Quinn doesn't do a Samoan job.
On SmackDown, when they showed the Gunther package, and I saw Fat Gunther, I was like, I don't recognize this man anymore, but I recognize that setting, and that's NXT UK.
I was actually disappointed.
It's not real, Manny. It's never happened.
Disappointed that the Creed boys didn't win the title because they worked their asses off in that match, man. They asses was worked off. And I know the only people that you guys probably booed was Jensen and Brooke, but you know what?
No. Let's talk about your boys. Brooks was missing all over the place. How many times your big boot's your thing, and you've missed it about 4 times in that match?
You have one move.
Can I ask a question?
You have one job.
Where do you go and practice a big boot at? Where do you go? It's not. You don't have you don't have a big boot academy.
He's clearly wrestling at the one place where he will practice the big boot.
Arguably, yes, his big boot would put him in the run to be the worst big man in the game. But luckily, AEW saved that when they had the big Indian man debut.
I don't know. The other Indian man on SmackDown could be Shanky. Shanky could still be the worst big man in the game.
I think so what we need to do is rank the best Indian wrestler, and I think that might be Grayson Waller's bodyguard. Although he keeps getting pinned.
Sanjay Dutt remains the best Indian wrestler ever.
Is he still wrestling though? Is he still wrestling?
He ain't wrestling right now.
His segment was the flattest segment of the week. I mean, that was the worst ending to any wrestling show this week. And I'm talking about some random garbage wrestling that Ultimo Dragon's probably champion of still. That was a terrible ending.
Can I ask you guys? I have 2 questions before we wrap this show up. But like, do you think? Because we all agree that segment that closed out Dynamite was one of the worst segments ever. Do you think?
I don't think it's the worst segment ever. I just think that it was poorly produced.
Yes, but do you think Tony Khan, as an owner and a creator, apologizing to the fans for making a mistake is appropriate? Because I don't think it is. I don't think you owe the fans anything.
Apologized.
Huh?
He came online saying it wasn't executed.
Yeah, he said he admitted that it wasn't executed correctly, and the fans deserve more than that. This one is on me, something like that. I'm like, no, don't apologize for shit. If we put a shitty show out, we put a shitty show out. Simple as that.
And the
Well,
show wasn't shitty. It's not even a shitty show.
He's done plenty of things to annoy me. I don't get my apology for that.
Well, the lights out trope. The lights out trope. He needs to stop. He did it, and I guess it built up expectations of who it could be. It's fine. And then you get a big man from India, and you have no idea. And then you have your boy Tony Schiavone going, "I know who that is," and I go, "No, you don't, Tony. No, you don't. No one knows who that is." Yeah, the Jericho exploding.
That was all pay-per-view though. That's different. This was
the Mimosa match might have been one too.
No, but that's still probably one of the worst. No, the Jericho Fall was on TV.
Oh,
that
yes.
was a pay-per-view.
Yes, I remember that. I also would like to say,
that was on TV. That was a pay-per-view.
I need AEW to clean up how many dark factions they're gonna have, because like Pentagon Dark or whatever he was, Obscuro, he could be with Aleister Black and his crew. They got a dark thing. Then the big Indian man showed up. He had the lights out. Like everybody got the power to the light switch.
Alex needs to be fired.
Who?
Alex.
Yes, Betty. I agree. He needs to be fired. He needs to be gone. He does.
They do have the Butcher and the Blade, the Butcher debut, but also
the Dark Order debut.
I feel like I'm shitting on the AEW bad indies because Raw's has some shitty indies too. But
Raw has been shitty as a whole, not just the indie, but from beginning to end.
Well, so Raw has a history. Raw has a history of just badness. If we watch Raw's retro, nothing has changed, folks.
So Marcus, like AEW in their ending could be an upset stomach, but Raw has had cases of diarrhea where it's just been like, oh, I can't get off this toilet. It's just bad. It's shit after shit.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm never going to forgive him for that Damian Priest AJ Styles match this week. Why the fuck did he just disappear and turn into a bat? What the fuck? I'm going away now. What the hell? Even AJ went to the back, which is my favorite thing. I don't know what the hell happened out there and why. I still wanted to wrestle. I don't know why he just decided to power up and disappear.
As Manny has posted this picture on the Facebook, I will point out, what the fuck was Coffee and Xavier doing? Like, why were they signing autograph pictures for Bush to find him to whoop their ass? Like, I don't get.
Can I just point out, Big Money Kofi Kingston has phoned it in, because if you go look at that picture from SmackDown, his signature is atrocious. He's just scribbling. There's no sign of Kofi or Kingston on that. It's just like a scribble. And I was like, who is doing this? And then that's why he deserved Butch leaping over that table and getting him. That's how you know you mean business when you jump over. I just
love the fact that Ridge is shaving folks like, oh shit, we done lost Butch, because they have to keep watching Butch. Like, and yes, and El Luchador, those stupid ass stories, that's what I enjoy. Why do I enjoy it? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Butch is
he's making use of what he's got.
The fact that, and again, this controversial name change scenario of Butch, Gunther, and Theory's name change.
Cortez, man. Cortez, my favorite.
Cruz Del Toro, who no one cares about. and I know you don't care about Raul Mendoza. I actually like Raul Mendoza, and I think there's a lot of potential in Raul Mendoza.
I like Cruz Del Toro more because he's part of the Del Toro family.
Benicio. He's Benicio's
little brother. That's where it is. I mean, I love that they have an app, the Latin name generator, just like they have the German name generator. Like, Ludwig Kaiser. That's who we're going to go with.
I forget about Ludwig Kaiser. But I don't care about these name changes, because basically at the end of the day, the same wrestler is what they do. Gunther is still Gunther, except for he's in better shape than Walter, and probably is going to live a longer, healthier life.
I prefer Walter over Gunther, just to let you know. And I'm talking about the wrestler. I like fat dad bod Walter over in shape Gunther.
Do you know what? Those chops have a bit more velocity on them now, and I fear for people that are taking them chops now.
They're coming out of swiftness now. Before you like, oh, you can brace yourself. Now it's shit. Like he went from a racetrack. He went from a belt to a switch real quick. And parents are abused. Like, this shit ain't funny no more. If Gunther was evolving into that Samoa Joe and Minoru Suzuki match, Minoru Suzuki would have exploded on chop number 2.
Hey,
oh, that was good. No.
hey, did you guys see that bitch ass Willa Yuta try to be Charlie Dempsey with his neck thing? He couldn't do it. Like he had it for a couple. Oh, my neck hurt, and he had to turn over. Fuck him. F
No,
Willa Yuta, Marcus.
Did you see
Why are you telling me?
one of the did you see one of the ass boys decided to in front of
I mean, he wish he could. He wish he could. I'm just like, like Roman, when he's not on SmackDown is shitty. You need to have Roman there. You gotta have him there. Like, you just can't.
Marcus raised the question. Marcus reminded me. Apparently, Mox's contract is up at the end of the month. You think he's gone?
As I told Marcus, and I think I told him this in a personal conversation, because I don't think I said it on the show, I don't know, because I think he really enjoys the freedom, but now he is a parent, and who knows what Renee might say. And quite frankly, if he came back to WWE, I think he's in a position to be the guy that can feud with Roman right now. I think they have enough history to tell a meaningful story for him to come back and try to fight the tribal chief.
It would be him and Cody. It'd be the AEW invasion coming back. but no, I just feel like my take was AEW needs to re-sign Mox, and it's not a win or loss in WWE gets them. They get a plus. They could care less about Mox or anything. They'll redo the Shield shit and and feuding with Roman and they'll just do their cycle, their will. They don't care about that. But in AEW, just on the outlook, if you lose 2 of your original top names, it looks bad as a company going like, this was the better place. I'd never go to WWE because they're a shithole and they run their company like this. And then for these people to go back, it just looks bad for that company. Well, those people do not trust the management, basically.
But it's not trusting the management, but like if you come in at the beginning of like a startup and you're promised like essentially a good life and the world at that point, but then a year's gone on and then they've brought in all these other people, then now you're kind of almost like you're kind of just there. At this point, don't you explore your options again when time comes?
I would agree, but I think another concern is that you have to be very worried about TK and how he pay attention to his books, because like if you knew that Mox's contract was going to expire, because to WWE credit, they knew Mox's contract was going to expire, so they did what they do with contracts expire. Like we gave you a show, we made you lose a couple of times, but we took care of you. But like they have put Mox in like a very, I would say, if you rank the storylines that are going on in All Elite Wrestling, it's like the Blackpool Fight Club is like one of the top storylines that they're going. The fact that he's in the Blackpool Fight Club and the next thing you know, he might be gone and being on SmackDown the next day kind of tells me that maybe you should have thought about, extending him I mean, maybe they already have
that was the Cody thing
that we don't know about.
But that was the Cody thing as well, wasn't it? Cody was the TNT champion before he walked out the door.
I mean, he cut that promo. The MJF thing.
Yeah,
like,
he cut
promo. MJF keeps talking about 2024. We're not getting there, baby. We're not getting there. Negotiations are going to go really well, and I'm going to keep you around. And I would not let things go all the way to free agency, even though MJF is going to free agency, as he says. I would do my best to prevent all of this.
Yeah,
and Mox, who I believe they sign all these people, but I believe Mox has still more value than 90% of the people they signed. Yeah, let's talk about Keith Lee and Down, and even Adam Cole. Swerve is just in the middle of the Drew Gulaks in the world. Not Drew Gulaks, Tony Nese's in the world. So stop bringing him up in the main event picture.
Right? No, Marcus. We're going to bring Swerve up all the time because that's your boy.
But I believe it's just money. I don't even know what Swerve isn't even in my top 5 favorite wrestlers in the world, but you treat it like he's my number 1.
Betty, for the way this man has greased up and hyped up Swerve throughout the show, I mean, you would think he was in his top 5.
You defend him too hard. This is the problem. You defend him way too hard.
You guys are too harsh on him. You guys are harsher to Swerve than you are to Ember Moon and Naomi.
Marcus, do not sit here and try to act like that. See, Now you're talking crazy talk because the one thing I know about Manny, if Manny gets an opportunity to talk about Athena, aka Ember Moon, he will do it in a second and he will bury that heifer to the ground. You, on the other hand, Marcus, you are a retainer. You're a retainer for the Spurs, the squad defense fund. This is what you do. You're always there.
You guys are trying to. You guys criticize Swerve Scott like Skip Bayless criticize LeBron James for whatever reason. Just wake up today. Fuck Swerve Scott. Why? What did he do to you? How did he hurt you?
First of all,
Go ahead, Manny.
how dare you even compare Swerve Scott to LeBron James? LeBron James.
Exactly.
How dare you?
How
dare you?
You guys
dare you even mutter his name in the same
Okay.
sentence of a king?
I was going to use J. Jonah Jameson on Spider-Man, but I thought I'd keep it in sports, okay?
And how dare you compare Swerve Scott to Spider-Man? What the hell, Marcus? Swerve Scott is not even like a low-budget villain in the Spider-Man universe. Like, come on, man.
To unnecessary criticism.
Marcus, the only thing you can compare Swerve Scott to was paint because he's like that, watching that shit dry, boring. That's what it is.
No, Eric. Watching paint dry is more entertaining than watching.
It might be.
I don't understand this hate. I understand my willing you to hate.
Manny,
I don't understand your Swerve Scott hate this much.
Ashanti the Adonis was more entertaining than Swerve Scott, and that's saying a lot.
That is true.
I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. You know.
There's only one thing worse than Swerve Scott, and that's the big boo.
I'm going to continue to talk on my show where people make sense, and that is every Wednesday when we do ETE where people make sense. Shoot.
Where less than 20 people watched it this week.
God damn it.
I think my show last week got 40. So, hey, thank you, everything.
No, your show last week got like 60.
Yeah, see, there it is. El Luchador, he says, it all depends on what matters to you, money or artistic freedom. For me personally, he also goes, Cody didn't get that freedom anymore because the stories were sucking, so he left and took the bag.
And for Mox, I don't think Mox is gonna leave. I honestly don't think he's gonna leave. The man seems happy doing everything he's doing, whether it's Japan or AEW or New Japan Strong or whatever, or Bloodsport or wherever he's doing. The man seems happy to do what he wants. I think he's in the vein of Matt Cardona where he's wrestling everywhere. I don't think he's leaving, but I do think Tony needs to lock that shit up.
Somebody need to take away Tony's credit card and say you can't buy any more wrestlers for the next month. You can't buy nobody else.
Yeah, fire like half those guys and keep the ones you need.
I think his big announcement next week is a joint show with New Japan.
I mean, that's interesting, though. I think
fantastic.
That's for the wrestling fans out there. That's going to be a great thing, but I don't know how interpromotional cross promotion actually works, to be totally honest. So,
just you win, I lose. We'll win over here in America, we'll win, and then we go to Japan, they'll win, and and everybody's happy. That 50-50 shit. But here's my thing. I'm so sick of hearing TK as the god of wrestling and all that when I hear it in the chats. He ain't doing shit that Ring of Honor didn't do already.
Hey, man,
he has a budget.
Do you have a picture of the one true God?
What Lord?
Not handy.
Roman Christ. Roman
Christ. Because that's the only true God right there. But the only thing about Battle for the Belts tonight that got me interested, because I've never seen Grisham. I would like to see him fight, and he's fighting my old former boy when I watched Ring of Honor, Dalton Castle, and it looks like the boys is back. I didn't even know that happened.
Well, everybody's back together once WWE fires everybody, WWE people give WWE a hard time about releasing people, but what they don't realize, they create reunions, okay? They create family get-togethers again, where everybody can get back together instead of breaking them up. But no one loses tonight. No one loses their belts tonight. I just feel like at least that battle at the belts this time, all the belts are being defended. And no one, instead of last time where everybody got hurt in COVID.
I just felt like that they should have reversed that. I think the AEW title should have been defended on the Battle of the Belt show, but that's just me. But whatever. I mean, they don't.
Why?
More people. I think the AEW title match should have been on Dynamite where more people would have watched it. Not many people would have watched Rampage, and even less people are probably going to watch Battle of the Belts tonight.
And the thing about it is that like this was like a live edition of Rampage, and I don't know if like spending the money to go live really helps.
Yeah, it was live.
Yeah,
Rampage was live this week. Because they filmed Battle of the Belts right after.
So they really shit on the Ruby Soho match then, because that was dead.
That was dead because like Ruby Soho is what WWE says she was. El Luchador says Nakamura is basically in WWE on a retirement tour. Yeah, he is. I mean, holy.
Tomorrow he will have risen.
Can I tell you, if I could take a picture like this of myself, shit, right there, that is.
Eric, I'll do you one favor. I'll Photoshop you over Roman's head, and you can be Jesus.
Don't agree to that, Eric, because you get done dirty.
No, I know, because next thing I know, I'll be on Keith Lee where and he's gonna be Swerve Scott bouncing off my chest or something like that. I don't need that in my life.
I feel Manny as Cameron / Bivens was that was done justice. Manny looked like he was really on that phone.
So Marcus, before we close this up, Marcus, I know you mentioned every ETE. You guys did a show about Hyper Battle 2022. What could you do to encourage some of the people who have not watched that show? What did you guys talk about? Did you guys enjoy that show?
Oh, I gotta do ETE now on the show.
Just
for people who don't care about the, you would have enjoyed the main event. Okada doing his bullshit. Zack Sabre Jr. doing his bullshit.
Give me that same Swerve Scott gives in his matches. So I need you to pick it up to a notch, man. Take it up to another level.
Come on, man. I'm dead. You want me to get more? I have few energy to talk about shit I hate, not about things I love. Okay, but. Zack Sabre Jr. Okada tore the house down. It's just a lot on the show. It was a stacked card, but the card for this weekend, the Chicago Riot or whatever it's called, with Mox and Ospreay, and it's a fully card. It's gonna be a bigger card.
Oh, you know what? Luchador,
and we're talking about that Wednesday.
Let me tell you, New Orleans was fucking lit. Let me give New Orleans some credit. All
AEW crowds.
No, but New Orleans was really off the chain. I mean,
not all of them. Some of them you notice they're a bit lower, and that goes for every time any big wrestling promotion is in their town. They are a bit.
Hey, Marcus, Texas did not care about Ruby Soho at all. They did not care.
Well, her destination is unknown, Eric.
It's gonna be released again. I mean,
she's been wrestling on Dark for like 8 months now. Like she had momentum behind her, and then all of a sudden it was like. But throw her on Dark for about 7 years.
And this probably could be something that we could talk about.
Azkaban, Ruby Riot.
We could probably talk about this on another time because I know we're on time restraints. But I just don't like the way they're handling this Owen Hart into this tournament. I don't like these qualifying. They're not explaining to me how some of these people get to be in these qualifiers and whatnot.
Can I have a bracket? Give me a bracket.
Yeah, well,
because a bracket of these qualifying matches like that, I need to know.
We still got people qualified for each other, and then they're threatening me with one of the worst times ever: Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm. I don't need that match. Like, there's nothing in the word that says.
Sorry, Eric. You were given your worst time ever already on Dynamite. It was Marina Shafir versus Sky Blue.
Oh my god! Oh.
Marcus, stop hitting your microphone.
Mark, let me tell you something right now, Marcus. There is one person more bored than Swerve Scott, Sharita Shafir. Man, she's.
Hold on, I can think of multiple people more boring than Swerve Scott.
I don't know.
Nick Aldis.
Again. Let me jump in and defend Nick Aldis. Okay? Let me defend.
Wait. Marcus, can I pause you real quick, Marcus? Because right now I realize, Marcus, we are attacking you and maybe because you're sleepy. But Marcus, if you had to choose one, are you choosing Nick Aldis or Swerve Scott? Which one do you protect?
What am I choosing them for?
Marcus, is your protection. You're APA. You're APA for Swerve Scott and Nick Aldis.
No, but am I like, are they champions or what am I protecting them for? Do I just want to watch a match?
You're protecting them from the abuse from Betty and I. That's what you're protecting them from. Because I didn't know that Betty was going to pull the Nick Aldis card.
That card is always ready to pull.
Yeah, I will protect Swerve over Nick Aldis.
Cause,
Damn
you
it!
know, because I will point out that once Nick Aldis was mentioned, my views just dropped right then and there.
Nick Aldis
I was trying-
is a
I was trying on a
charismatic
country man
man.
like that.
He's a good champion.
Charismatic to who? Charismatic to who?
He
Blind
can't
people?
wrestle.
They can't see him?
That is your countryman, Manny.
I don't care. It means anyone can get it. It means nobody's safe.
Manny got the Glock loaded and he's firing at everybody. Watch out, Draco. He's coming for you next. Anyway, I think we have talked enough about, and we have given Marcus a hard time by his taste in wrestlers. Swerve Scott and Nick Aldis being two of them. Make sure you check out the Untitled Manny and Marcus show on Tuesday and Thursday. I will watch the shows, and so they're going to talk about me. I'm going to watch.
You know what? You guys deserve a timeout. And I should make you watch
You can't put me
versus Sky Blue every time you guys fuck up. All right.
Hey, guess what?
That should be a punishment.
Marcus, we're already being punished next week. We've got Marina Shafir versus Jade
Cargill. Yeah, come on, man. Like, you might as well put Shanky in the match. I mean,
you know, I look like I just been a limit.
Yeah,
that's how it's gonna be every time I hear that match.
Like literally, I can't believe that WWE kept Shafir that long as long as they did. And the fact that
they tried to make Ronda happy,
they thought
but
there was something behind her.
Yeah, and Roddy was there, you know.
Shout out to Roddy, still putting out great matches, man. Shout out to him, man. Appreciate that.
So next week is a very stacked week on this channel. You've got 2 episodes of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. You've got ETE in the middle of the week. You got Roy's Retro as normal, and the best of is out on Monday. And of course, the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast is on Saturday. So the only day you're not getting content is Sunday because it's the Lord's Day.
And then if you subscribe to the audio feed, because you can't go to YouTube, occasionally, don't know when, but a random shot might show up in your audio feed where I talk about nonsense, or maybe I'll get the Lordship himself to talk about something. Maybe we could talk about why we hate.
He never asked me. We can
talk about why we hate Swerve Scott. Hey, Betty, we can have a whole shot episode dedicated to Swerve Scott. It'll be 2 seconds worth of content. Swerve Scott sucks. All right, thank you, everybody.
Bye.
I don't understand. This is not compute.
Because Marcus, can I allow you to understand something real quick, Marcus?
I don't even have to defend them. I don't even bring up Swerve Scott, Marcus, and yet you guys attack him. You smack Swerve Strickland.
Marcus, your reactions to us attacking Swerve Scott is more entertaining than Swerve Scott, and I think we do that.
That might be true. That is 100% true. But I'm just saying,
us calling you the Pog last month was more interesting than anything both Nick Aldis and Swerve Scott have done in their careers.
Just imagine if they would form a tag team, they'd be called Pretty Boring instead of Pretty Deadly.
Damn. Jesus.
Anyway, I'm Eric. Not Swerve Scott.
Manny Hayes. I'm not Nick Aldis.
By the way, I'm changing my pick. I'm going to take Nick Aldis over Swerve Scott. At least he'll bring Mickey James along. At least he has that going for him.
You know, Eddie, I look forward to find out who the next person that falls under Marcus protection that we can attack. Because
there are no protection. I'm just saying. You know what? I'm just gonna let it go.
I can imagine it as well. It's like, come on, Nick, under my wing. Come on, Nick. Come on, Swerve, under my wing.
I kind of want to entitle the audio portion of the show Swerve, but then I know nobody would download it, so I can't do that. Or Swerve Aldis.
Swerve versus Aldis.
I mean, I did that with this week's Roy's Retro, and it got more views than both the Untitled Manny and Marcus shows. I just called it Stone Cold versus McMahon.
Yep. That's all you need,
this actual match.
But see, that's actually somebody that people care about.
Clickbait.
Marcus, are you gonna call yourself the Grand Finale, or did you forgot?
Oh, I thought I did that already. Oh,
No, you
Marcus
did
Grand
because you
Finale.
got disgusted by Swerve Scott and Nick Aldis.
Hold on, let me do my Xia Li bullshit. Protector. The Protector. I know she dropped the gimmick. I don't know where she's at.
She's chilling with Shotzi someplace probably.
Do my wushu. I am protecting these wrestlers at all costs.
Hey, aren't we a little behind on the releases? Because I mean, WrestleMania has happened 2 weeks ago. Shouldn't people be released already?
No,
they should have been released yesterday, April 15th.
Yeah,
April 15th is normally when they do it, but I think they've decided not to.
So,
according to Sean Bob Sapp, they're not released. They have no intention of releasing anybody.
I'm sorry. Me and Manny, we have been pretty savage to you, but I think El Luchador really dropped the bite. He says, imagine you can name yourself anything and you choose your real name, Nick Aldis.
On that note, harsh.
On that note,
that's more harsh than what we did.
Leave them alone. Y'all leave these people alone.
I know for a fact that this show was more entertaining than the Swerve Scott or Nick Aldis match. But until next week, stay sharp. We out.